at your end?
Cool.
It
Very
is?
cool.
Okay, I've not been outside, but I guess it's it looks bright, very sunny, but I mean temperatures might easily be in the negatives. And it's yet another wonderful opportunity to come your way with dear one. So yeah, last week we had to replay one of the previous episodes because we were all busy somewhere else. Prissy was busy in the lab. I was busy with the tournaments for the kids, and it went well. They won the trophy, and so it was really worth it. And yeah, but today we have another opportunity to come your way live and have an awesome time. So as usual, I'm always boring you with this, I know, yeah, but we need to let people know that the most important thing they are doing, I mean, they can do today is on. So okay, so I just shared my feed. Now we started a discussion on secrets, and we said today, no, the next time we're going to continue with that. Prissy, could you recap what we did the last time out on secrets? A summary of what we did.
I'm thinking about it. Okay, so I
Yeah.
quite remember that we spoke about the fact that you should let your spouse know everything about you. And then we talked about the timing. It's also important. Whether you make the person know early in the relationship or late in the relationship.
Yeah.
And then what else? And then the fact that delaying or hiding it, buying time might not necessarily give you any advantage. And so it's better to do it as promptly as you can.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that is what I remember from what we discussed. If there's any more.
Right. I think you captured it pretty well. So just before we continue, if you, as soon as you join us, let us know you hear. I mean, the reason we have to keep saying this is with the application I use to, I mean, we use in doing this broadcast, I can't see you. I can only know you are there when you shoot a comment down there, and then we bring you on. I mean, we bring you into the discussion and make it very interactive. Yeah, so as soon as you're here, let me know. Shoot a hello, shoot a hi, and then let's get it going. Okay, now, so there is another part about this whole thing, Prissy. In this day and age where everyone has rights, sort of. I mean, people used to have rights, but they didn't know about it. But it looks like in today's day and age, everyone knows about their rights and blah, blah, blah. With people who think that they have the right to privacy, what do you think you have to say about that? Like, yes, you have a spouse, you're married to a spouse, but what if someone thinks that, hey, can't I have my private life? What do you have to say about that?
I don't know how private you can be when you consider yourself as one.
Awesome.
So if I see my spouse as myself, then I don't see how I can have privacy against myself. Like, I want to be private. So for me, I don't know what would bring about privacy because everything is lay open. I can give my phone to my husband without password. Okay.
Right.
You can scroll through every conversation I have and everything. So I don't know. Maybe you have a mindset that you are living with your enemy. Yeah, true. Some people are married to their enemies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in that case, maybe their privacy matters. But if you are married to
the
love of your life, then I don't see how you would want privacy.
And that's a good one. I think if you're married to your enemy, they shouldn't know your next steps, right? You have to, yeah, you have to be very discreet about that. And so that is a case where you wouldn't let them know. Hey, Paul, good to have you. Hi, Daniel, good to have you. So I agree with what you just said. If you really, so let's go to the root of this whole marriage institution. If two people are supposed to become one, then logically it doesn't even make sense for you to say that you have privacy against yourself, or you're trying to keep something from yourself. I mean, it doesn't even make sense logically. So if we can always go back to what the foundations are, what it is supposed to be, then you realize that it sounds very rational to say that there is something about yourself you don't want to tell yourself, or there is something about yourself you don't want yourself to know, right? So I think that makes a lot of sense. Now, from one of the questions raised the last time out, I think it brings up a very interesting dimension to this. Are there things that sound too trivial to disclose? Are there things that you really think that, okay, it's fine not to disclose this, or there would be a lot of trouble if I don't disclose this? What's your take on that?
It depends on what you two see as trivial. And so for something that you might see as trivial might not necessarily be trivial to your partner.
Right.
But I believe that for me, I will not call Van and tell him that I ate this and did that and went here and all that. It's not necessary.
Yeah.
But if I feel that there's something that can affect him or concern him, then I'll let him know.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that, and there might be spouses that would be so interested in even what you ate or what you drank, or whatever. If you think that's your spouse, that's fine. I mean, go ahead, let your spouse know. But for example, for me, if you call me to tell me all that, you are really wasting my time. You are really, because it's more like when you call, okay, what is it? It should find out this without me telling him or her. You see, you get what I mean? So whatever the situation is, if you really think through and it is something he will not smile about, he will not laugh about, assuming he gets to know that from someone else apart from you, then it should be something worth disclosing. You get what I mean? So there are things that the person will just smile about. Let's say that you've said you want to what watch your weight, right? And so you're not going to take anything that has a lot of high sugar content, blah blah blah, and you go ahead to do it. If your spouse gets to know, it might just be a smile away, right? But in the same vein, if it is something that is threatening to your health, like doctors have said, you should strictly stay away from sugar, and your spouse is aware of that, knows that you should actually stay away from it, and you go do that, and your husband gets to know later that you did that without you being the one telling your husband, then there could be an issue, right? So you should run it through that litmus test, find out, is this something that will really trigger my spouse? It might be that your spouse would just smile about it, that, oh, so you went to hide to take ice cream when you're not supposed to take ice cream, right? But if it comes to weightier matters, right, or like something like, okay, you had an ex, right, and you think that if your spouse doesn't know from you and hears from somewhere, he would be really concerned, or she will be really concerned, then I think that is worth disclosing. Because you see, the whole thing is not to break the trust. And the way you break the trust is when you are not the one who does the disclosure, and your spouse gets to find out from somewhere else. You get what I mean? Yeah. So what you would really want to do is to run it through your mind. Is this something that he or she would get irritated about, angry about, if he or she hears it from someone else apart from me? Pretty US, I mean, I saw that.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Yes. So what if you have a spouse
Mm-hmm.
that does things and does not disclose it? You know that the person is doing something,
Right.
and it's not willing to disclose what they are doing.
Right.
But then they want you to be open.
Right.
In whatever you are doing. Say, for instance, you have a spouse who earns a certain amount and
Right.
is not accountable to you how they do their spending.
Mm-hmm.
You know that the person is earning this amount. You know without asking him, because when you ask, probably the person is not telling you the truth.
Right.
But the person wants you to be accountable to
Yeah.
what you have.
Right.
Do you also have the rights, knowing that this one is not open to you, to also keep it away from that person?
Okay. Then in that case, all that happens is that you guys are further drifting apart, right? I mean, in trying to settle scores, or in trying to pay back your spouse in his or her own coin, all you are doing is to split apart, like you moving further apart. So what would be my advice in such a scenario is that have an open discussion about it. The other spouse might not be really open, but let the other person know that you know. In fact, in that way, you are trying not to keep it a secret from that person. Saying, "Hey, yeah, I know you try to hide this from me, but hey, on the face of the pink sheet, this is the evidence. This is what you earn," and there is no. And all these goes back to the foundation. I might sound like a broken record saying foundation, 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 but all these go back to the foundation. How on earth would you say you are one with someone, but some things will be hidden? And let's think about the logical part of it. You say you are sharing your life with someone, but you can't share information about your salary. Like all you're saying is that the salary is bigger than your life. You get what I mean? I mean, these might sound pretty basic, but these are the strings that actually hold strong relationships. If you say you are sharing your life with someone, how on earth can't you share things that we deem are smaller than life? You get what I mean? And so these are things you should have open conversations about. There are things that we naturally took from the older generation, right? So in the days and ages where only one spouse was working and all, and another spouse was only there to make demands, it would sound as if sorry, it would sound as if you let your spouse know how much you're earning, then the demands would increase. In this day and age where our politicians have made it such that life is very difficult, and so it would be a very daunting task to leave running the whole family on just one spouse, then it is in your best interest as a family to really keep things open. Personally, one main reason I would advocate for openness is that, hey, if your spouse knows you don't have money, or your spouse knows how much you earn, people will think it as, okay, this would mean that my spouse will make more demands. But on the flip side, for a reasonable spouse, it means that your spouse will know that, no, we can't afford this, or we can't afford that, right? And so, hey, I think that it is to our benefit. As scripture puts it, they were both naked and were not ashamed. So you should aim to be naked in all aspects of your lives. I mean, in every single aspect, and not be ashamed about it. I think it's more of things for small boys, and permit my use of that, for small boys to try to hide your salary from your spouse, or small girls to try to hide your salary from your spouse. You can, people would easily be drawn to that when they are dating, right? So that at least you're trying to impress your spouse and all that. So if your spouse gets to know that, oh, so all along this was what you were earning, and you feel embarrassed or blah blah blah. Maybe it's fine for those butterfly stages, but when you get to serious business and you guys are married, what's the point? You get what I mean? What's the point? And personally, I feel it's to our own benefit to be very open about everything, about our finances.
Okay, so as you have said that,
yeah.
What if you know that you have a spouse who likes talking?
To ask him, we'll go tell other people.
We'll go out and like you discuss things at home, and the next thing you know,
okay, it's out there.
It is everywhere. Things exactly. You don't want to go out is gone out.
Yeah.
So is it good for you to keep certain things away from such a spouse?
Okay, so if you married an MC, like your spouse is naturally an MC, like everything has to be communicated or broadcast out there, or your spouse is a broadcaster naturally, right? What I think the main effort should be targeted at is to communicate and get your spouse to understand why things shouldn't go out there. Because think about it. Let's say you know your spouse is an MC, okay? Broadcast everything, or broadcast or whatever. Are you telling me that you are not going to communicate with your spouse, or you are always going to limit the communication with your spouse? It wouldn't really get you anywhere, because in marriage, there are very serious things that needs to be addressed. There are serious things that need to be discussed. There are gossips that run here and there in marriage, that's fine. But there are very serious things that your spouse is the only person you can actually discuss those with, because it pertains to your marriage. And so because your spouse is a natural broadcaster, you wouldn't communicate that with your spouse, then I think that places a very huge limit on the marriage. You get what I mean? Because what level of detail are you always going to give your spouse when you are discussing stuff? Like it would work against the naked and not ashamed principle. You get what I mean? Because you can't be fully open to your spouse because you are scared your spouse will go broadcast it out. So I think the effort would be to really get your spouse to understand that, hey,
but what if the person, some things are habits. It's difficult for some people to change.
Okay.
And so maybe I have a sensitive information I don't want to go out there.
Yeah.
And I know that maybe if I tell my spouse, this thing will go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't you think it would be wise of me not to tell my spouse?
Again, 90, and I'm being very generous here, but 90% of all things that spouses discuss in generality shouldn't be out there. It should usually be between the two of them, right?
Yeah.
In marriage, generally about 90%. So my question is, if you have that kind of spouse that you're talking about, how are you going to communicate with your spouse? Just because whatever it is, your spouse will send it out there. It would would make for a very dysfunctional marriage. You get what I mean? So my approach, where I will put all the effort, instead of trying to harbor all those things, harbor all those information, because it takes a lot of effort as well to harbor things, right? I would rather channel that into getting my husband or my wife to understand why we cannot be sending things out. Because what it would actually breed is that you, the spouse, holding that information from your spouse, because sometimes you need to discuss it with someone, you would end up discussing it with someone outside. You get what I mean? Because there are things that are pressing, and you feel that if you let your spouse know, it will be open. It will be an open secret, right? If you don't get your spouse to a point where you are able to discuss such, what might happen is that you yourself will find an avenue to be discussing it with someone you will call trusted. And in so doing, you are actually putting your issues out. You're actually doing what exactly your spouse was doing, for which reason you're not trying to communicate with your spouse. You get what I mean? So personally, and I might be wrong, but personally, all I would do would be to channel the effort at letting my spouse know that, hey, we are in this together. The outside world is the outside world. They don't need to know all that we do, right? And so I would rather channel the effort into getting my spouse to understand why some things need to be kept just between the two of us. And let me flip it back to you. What would you do in that case, Prissy?
If I have a spouse that
Yeah.
would send my stuff out there, maybe the first time before I tell you, I'll test you.
Okay.
I'll tell you something and tell you don't go say out there.
Yeah.
If I hear, and I'll tell you, if I hear you, whatever I'm saying, and I'm telling you, I hear it out there, I'm not going to tell you anything again. Yeah, so I'll give you a condition.
So can I ask a question? Can I ask a question? So charity or love suffers long, right?
Yeah.
As scripture tells us. Would you already give up trying to get your spouse to be better in that regard and say that, hey, I cut you off, I'm not going to tell you anything?
I would try, but maybe if whatever I'm telling you, I'm telling you, if it's something that will harm me, if it goes out there, I think that you also have, as a spouse, you have a responsibility to how do you safeguard the marriage?
Yeah.
So if you have duties and responsibilities and you have rights, and you are not up to the task for your responsibility. So we have rights, we have there are benefits in the marriage and all that. I will let you know that I am telling you this as a trial. So that I'm testing you. If this thing goes out there, I'll let you know that next time I will not. It is something I'm telling you that if it goes out there, trust me, I am not going to tell you sensitive information again.
Okay.
You get it? So that when you break it, I come with evidence. You broke this thing, and so you know that it's all on you. So that you would, maybe that would make the person change, because they know that they are the cause of the reason why their spouse is not open to them.
I think that's fine as well. With all you can run your marriage with legalities and everything. It works. That's fine. It also okay. So Daniel says that I think if your spouse goes ahead to broadcast what's only supposed to be consumed by them alone, then perhaps the foundation is weak, because these things should have been discussed at the initial stages of the relationships. I agree. I mean, if the foundations are right, again, foundation, if the foundation is set right, there are things you would even not want to disclose to anyone naturally. you get what I mean? Your spouse tells you something, naturally you wouldn't want to disclose to. So what I'm guessing is that, Prissy, your question is in the very
extreme
extreme case, exactly,
yes,
where like, yeah, you for some reason your spouse trained as a journalist and so feels that
because people
everything
have
is,
lived with people they've married for, let's say, 40-50 years.
yeah,
They've tried everything and it's still not working. So how sure are you that just saying, telling the person
for help,
after 40 years of
yeah,
marriage, the person will change?
right,
So I
I get,
believe that having rights and responsibilities, and like with your privileges comes rights and responsibilities. So
right,
if you want to enjoy certain privileges, you have to
right.
also make sure you do according to what will make you enjoy those privileges.
There is some funny thing I'm about to say, and before that, hey Solomon, good to have you. Solomon says that stability, the Anuani Foundation. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Now, now let me say this, Prissy. Do you and this might lead to next week's discussion, Prissy? Do you believe that, and I'm just basing that on the legality principle you just spelled out, do you believe that a wife is in the right for denying the husband maybe sex just because the husband is not fulfilling his responsibilities and obligations? And hold on, this should just, your answer should just be based on the premise you gave earlier. What do you think?
Okay, so for responsibilities, not doing your responsibilities, no. But you can
Hold
if the
hold
person is
hold on.
cheating,
Hold on.
because your life
Hold on.
is at risk.
Hold on. I just lost you. So, based on your earlier premise,
No, but if it is something that has to do with maybe your life, or it can, so let's say for instance there are
okay,
STIs
okay,
around and
okay.
you have a partner going around,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
sleeping around. Now
Yeah,
I also have to safeguard my health.
correct.
Get it?
Um,
So that is
please, no.
equal
Quick
to
question.
the person
Quick
going
question.
around.
You just hold on, Prissy. You just changed my question, and then you gave your own answer. That wasn't my question.
No.
But
So
hold on. My question was, your spouse is not fulfilling his obligations in the home, taking care of the home, blah, blah, blah. Do you agree if a wife, based on that, is denying the husband sex?
no.
Don't set your own questions.
No. But then I
Okay,
wanted to
okay. No,
liken this to, let's
no
say
explanation.
you
So,
telling your partner something, the person goes, what if that information that the
no,
person is
no.
spreading is going to affect your mental health or going to affect your health?
Prissy, okay, so based on the answer you've just given, you can't go in with your legality and say that, hey, because I have rights and you have responsibilities, I'm denying you these privileges because you did not fulfill your obligations. So, ladies and gentlemen, on that rather nice note, where I managed to pin Prissy to the wall, we draw the curtains on this week's episode of DFN. So we'll come back to you next week with yet another episode. As always, remember that no two relationships are the same. Thanks for joining us. Have a nice week ahead. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Maybe we have to extend it because our operator